puppy dogs. The sun is shining, and I think that's our cue to get things underway. So a very good afternoon to everybody. Welcome to this special Glebe celebration of the life of Robyn Kemmis. Just over 4 months ago, we suddenly lost one of Glebe's great characters. Today we come together to bring her to our minds and our hearts, to share memories, glimpses into the depth of Robyn's life, her relationships, her community. And as we come together in celebration to remember her, to eat and to drink together, to share stories of how she touched our lives, it will inspire us to continue the work she did in her passion for this community and her powerful and unrelenting commitment to social justice.
In the past few weeks, knowing that I'd be doing this, I walked around the Glebe estate and the streets of Glebe asking people what they thought of Robyn, and these are some of the words I heard. She was a very nice woman. She was warm and supportive. She could talk to anyone. She was a good woman. She was a community activist who cared. From other people I heard she was a go-getter. She cared, it wasn't just a job to her. Other people said she knew how to get things done. She included us in things. She would always talk to us. She treated us as equal. She treated people well. I told some of those people after those conversations that she was once deputy mayor. They were amazed, and even more amazed when I told them that she came from housing, because people felt pride and hope that a housing person could be treated with such respect and turn around and treat other people with such respect. In the housing community of Glebe, and it is a community, status doesn't matter much, because getting an education and even a job isn't available to many. Instead of what you do, it's what you are that matters. And the famous Glebe graffiti at the bottom of the hill of a white hand holding a black hand saying the words Glebe 2037 and the word respect says it all. And so I'll finish by saying that Robyn Kemmis was respected, and she respected other people. Everyone thought she was a good woman. We appreciated her for what she gave, and we will miss her. And we'll be very, very lucky if we find someone like Robyn Kemmis who comes into our community and cares and supports us in the same way. Thank you, and we offer our support and condolences to her partner, Lynn.
I'm just going to give you a very short anecdote. I'm a member of the Glebe Community Action Group, and Robyn used to attend it. Usually one of her flying in, can't stop flying out things. And this one evening she arrived dressed in an immaculate black outfit with the driver outside and said, I can give you 15 minutes, which we were used to. And then she spotted one of our little dog celebrities, Maisie, who she knows really well. Robyn's wearing black, Maisie is very white. Maisie adored Robyn, so she jumped onto Robyn's lap and sat there for the duration of the 15 minutes. When it was time for Robyn to leave, she put the dog down and just stared at this ring of white dog and said, that's one excessively hairy animal, and sort of brushed at the fur and wandered out the door into the car. But the thing about Robyn was she had this way about her, and we knew that when she got out of the car at the other end, there wouldn't be a trace of dog fur. She would just be immaculate.
I really just wanted to be here today to honour Robyn and everything she did for the Glebe community. I first met Robyn when we were both running for council for the first time in 2004, and I think my first impressions of Robyn was that she was absolutely formidable. The second impression was she was absolutely beloved, and as I went door knocking around Glebe, everyone I door knocked said, oh, you seem lovely and young and enthusiastic, but I'll vote for Robyn first. And then, of course, once we were on council getting to know her, I think I just wanted to be like her more than anything. She was fiercely intelligent, absolutely committed to doing things for the right reasons. Smart, a doer, trustworthy. If she wasn't going to support you on an issue, she'd just say, oh no, and these are the reasons why. And I just really loved her for it, and she's such a huge loss. I also wanted to say a few words on behalf of Glebe Public P&C as well, because as many people know, we've got this wonderful school. We've got two wonderful schools in our community, but the one I'm most involved with is Glebe, where my children go. And Robyn was a tireless worker for our school. For Centipede, the after-school care, she basically kept Centipede afloat through some very lean years. I know Vicky will talk further about that. And it was so beloved by all of us there, the kids included, and she'll be a huge loss. Even more so because I was thinking this morning, Robyn was a person you always turned to for everything. So even though she was Deputy Lord Mayor, I still called her when we needed to get a council permit for the cake stall for Glebe Public P&C. And Robyn said, oh, don't worry, Darls, I'll fix that up. And it was, losing things. And it was just yet again an example of both the fact that she could get things done, but her approachability, that you ring the Deputy Lord Mayor of the City of Sydney to ask for permission to have a cake stall on a Saturday morning. And last but not least, I know many people here know that Robyn was also Deputy Vice-Chancellor at UTS, so she had a really distinguished career in education, and one of the things she was most passionate about was the power of education to change lives, the social mobility power of education. And with Lynn, we've set up a scholarship to honour Robyn's memory. The scholarship's going to be to support an Indigenous woman student to attend university. We're going to raise the funds to support her accommodation and her living expenses for 3 years. There are some flyers going around about it. We've also got a contact sheet if you want to sign up. You know, $5 is all you have to give. It's really to honour Robyn, her commitment to social justice, her commitment to education from the community here at Glebe. We'd love to. Thank you.
Robyn's been a person who I've turned to many a time when I've had a few little problems with the education of students and problems of the education department, etc. And I've been able to turn to her for advice and to get things done, because that's what she could do. And she did it with a huge sense of humour, and that was one of the things that I loved, is when she'd sidle up to me at the number of school things happening, our assemblies and our get-togethers, many times that we try and bring community together to support our students and our staff, myself. She'd sidle up to me and say, how you going, Vic? Anything I can do? And I tried not to bludge too much, but there were times when I needed to get a bit of support. One of the last things that we were working together is to just have a little bit of a chat about the increased number of tourist buses outside the school, but that's an ongoing thing, and we had quite a few little meetings and a few laughs, and we're on to it. But I do remember a number of years ago, we were very, very lucky through the City of Sydney Council to get this glorious fence, which you probably have seen, our wonderful colourful fence. Thanks, Clover. But I also know that in the background there was Robyn. And we had our sesquicentenary, and we celebrated, and Clover came up and opened up our wonderful art memorial to the our art feature. And Robyn came up to me, she sidled up to me afterwards and said, you know, Vic, those side fences, the rest of the fences at school look absolutely shithouse. We need to do something about that. And I said, oh, well, Robyn, it might take me a while through with the Department of Education. And she said, leave it with me. Within the week, I got a message to say that the side fences to the coloured fence, our wonderful coloured fence, were going to be done. And they were. And the Department of Education then came good with the rest. So it was through her wonderful sidling up to me and having a bit of a chat, a bit of a laugh. And I can say from the bottom of my heart, I miss those sidlings up and those little chats. Let's have a really wonderful day today together. Thanks, everybody.
My name's Jamie Parker. I'm the local Member of Parliament here, representing the seat of Balmain. I first really came to know Glebe in a representative sense when I was elected to Leichhardt Council that used to cover Glebe in 1999, which seems like such a long time ago now. And someone like Robyn had a real impact on me as well, because she approached things in a different way, in a genuinely different way. When people come to me and usually ask for things, they say, Jamie, we need to get this, or we need to, let's get this done, or let's get that done, and would be kind of pushing me to do it. And one of the things I always found about Robyn, which was so powerful, it was always about a partnership. How are we going to get this done? What do I need to do to work with you to do this? It was about collaboration, cooperation, partnership. And that was something that was incredibly powerful and something that she realised. And people have said before she got things done, and didn't she? She was amazing. She knew how to get things done. She knew how to handle people, to wrangle people. She even wrangled Clover every now and then, which is pretty remarkable. That's an achievement in itself. But I wasn't intending to say something today. I just wanted to express my sympathies to her friends and family, to express the loss that I feel and that has also been expressed to me by people in the community. We've lost someone who, it's so hard to express the commitment and contribution she's made to the community. And I hope today we can all join to celebrate that and to learn a little bit as well, which is that people really are remembered for their love, for their affection, for how they nourish the community. In politics, there's a lot of screaming and shouting and anger. We probably need a lot more love and a lot more affection and openness, because that's actually what builds community, builds people's connections, and builds the kind of turnout we can see today. So goodbye, Robyn, but I'm sure that her memory will last, and all of the amazing work she's done will last forever in our hearts. Thank you.
I wasn't intending to speak today because it's not a great day for corporate speeches and so on, but I did want to express to Lynn and to Robyn's family how much we in the Glebe Society, every single member of the Glebe Society, misses and respected Robyn, and what a hard act she is to follow. One thing that really stands out is that she was instrumental in getting for us a couple of tickets to the Lord Mayor's fireworks at New Year's Eve, which we have used as a fundraiser at the Glebe Society Christmas party for some years now, and it's been very instrumental in us raising funds for all the things that we do in the suburb. So that's a very small example of the sorts of things that she did. As a lasting tribute to Robyn, we've come up with the idea, which is still a very embryonic idea at the moment, of naming something physical to commemorate Robyn's life. And the idea that we've come up with is to have one of the pocket parks in Glebe named after her. Specifically, our thought is in relation to the Franklin Street playground, known affectionately as Elephant Park, because of the climbing frame in it. And the beauty of that is that it's right in the middle of the estate, which is very close to Robyn's principal seat of activity in Glebe. It doesn't have a name at the moment, it's simply the Franklin Street Playground, so there's no problem about taking somebody else's name away. It's still a work in progress. It's something with the council at the moment. We really feel that it would be a great thing to commemorate Robyn in that way. Thank you.
I wanted to come and pay my respects to Robyn on a couple of things which haven't really been mentioned today. Yes, we're both Glebe residents. Yes, at one stage we were both working at UTS. Robyn and I have known each other for a long time. We've often actually argued. We've actually been on different sides. Robyn could be very strong in what she was interested in. I could be equally tough in what I was interested in. The one thing I want to say about that is that every time I've had an argument with Robyn, it's been done on the basis of having a discussion, an argument and respect. And we came out of it on the other side, retaining a relationship, retaining our capacity to work together, retaining our passion about a whole lot of things, including, and I'm wearing purple for it, Robyn's strong feminist background, which I think needs to be acknowledged, which certainly drove a lot of what she wanted to do. So I wanted to say we need people like Robyn. We need people that we can butt heads with and that we can stop butting heads and then get on with what we have to change. There's a lot we need to do, and I think we're going to miss Robyn, and I think the best thing we could do, apart from naming playgrounds and having other ways of scholarships on it, is for people here to actually make a pledge that when they see something that's wrong, that they're going to do something about it, because that's the best memorial I think we can make to Robyn. Thank you.
I am not used to doing this kind of thing, even though I did run the Glebe Art Show for 15 years, and I've had to occasionally make little speeches and get the community together and get the volunteers together and put on the show, which was most rewarding and wonderful. It's still going on, and I'm sure you're all going there and liking it just as much. And when Robyn was Deputy Mayor, that was when I got to know her more closely, because we'd have to talk about things, about the show and so on. And she would come to the meetings at my house, and she was so gentle and so sharp, though, at the same time. She didn't miss a trick ever. And I really enjoyed any time I encountered Robyn to say, hello, how are you? And a very warm, wonderful person. Indeed, most sorely missed, indeed. That's all I can say. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name's Fiona Smith. I guess I'm speaking on behalf of the Glebe NAIDOC committee, that's when I first came in contact with Robyn and Nick and Bobby Burke. We worked on the history ride as one of our events, and when I eventually became the convener of that committee, she was so generous and so kind and so supportive. And I think for me, coming here today and just showing our love and support and offering condolences to her partner and her family, and just, you know, speaking on behalf of our committee and how much she was very much treasured and well liked and respected, and just a cool person, I felt. Okay, thank you.
I'd like to acknowledge the Gadigal people, the Eora Nation on this land that we all come to live and breathe, and we're blessed with people like Robyn. I don't come from here, from Cape York. My grandmother's a Kanji woman. My father is from the Biri people, locked up under the Protection Acts, and the history of Australia is with our traditional owners, and that is always something I feel that Robyn respected. And over here in the St James Hall was NAISDA, and NAISDA was the dance theatre, and we lost a very special music man at the end of the week, and so we pay respect to him. And with that, with music, NAIDOC this year is for songlines. It's songlines, a living narrative of our nation, and it's about our songlines. And when people write lyrics and they come together and they heal and they grieve, or they make merry, you know, make happy. Robyn, I remember Robyn coming to open up the beautiful artwork at Peter Forsyth Auditorium, the basketball court down at Broadway. And on the back wall there is the beauty of our culture. And Lizzie Rooney was very much a part of that. And Robyn and Liz were like two birds on two shoulders. And with their wings, they embraced this community, and they loved this community, and they flew about, and they flew all over the place. They knew, they worked together, and there was a great respect. And Robyn pushed very much the Elsie's Women's Refuge mural down next to the school in the car park, next to the car park. So go and have a look there, because that's about women. And going back to the opening of the artwork, Robyn spoke. You can get it on SBS. There is a, what do you call it, when you look it up on the internet? You can see her talking there. Yeah, on the news report for that event. And Archie Roach sang there. I think he sang about 6 songs. He sang for the opening. And it was beautiful, because he came here looking for his sister back in the 70s. And he said, I wish I would have had a community centre like the Glebe Youthian people to be able to find my sister and family, because he was stolen generation. So the music lines bring people together. And Robyn speaking at that opening, Lizzie was a very private person, and she worked with everyone in this community, with the young people, to paint and show the beauty of liquid art, of messaging. She would hide around the place, so she didn't like photographs. So we have Robyn, but you have the beautiful artwork. So songlines, it's not so, it is that songlines carry messages, and we thank Robyn for her support and her love And those two birds on each shoulder, because Robyn never worked alone, she worked with people. So those two supported each other. So I want to remember those two. And look for the rainbows around the place, because that's what Lizzie loved. And also Robyn loved the fact that the big rainbow was on that, the mural for the women and the struggle. And we've got to look after one another. So thank you, Robyn.
I had the pleasure of knowing Robyn in her final year. I met Robyn through Christina Anthony and Sharon Margin. Myself and Christina got a gentle nudge to get involved further with the Chamber of Commerce a couple of years ago, and that nudge may just have come from the lady we're all talking about. I have just one little anecdote to say about Robyn. We came up with this idea to reclaim some car spaces and do public parks, the Parklet project in Glebe. We ran it by a series of people that we talked to in the community, and the answer was always kind of the same. People were unsure about it. I thought the ultimate test would be to run the idea by Robyn, and I had this opportunity in front of Fish on Fire over there one afternoon while she was waiting for a fish and chips, and it was like approaching a celebrity, really. It was kind of like, Miss Kemmis, how are you? I just want to tell you about this project that we're looking to do in Glebe. Oh yeah, I've got 10 minutes while I'm waiting for my chips. I told her about it, that we were going to reclaim car spaces for public usage, and 4 words. Oh, good luck with that. She took her chips and then moved on. Anyway, I was at my office up at the Works, and we've got 3 stories to that building, and at the time you had to go through the antique shop and up through the next level and up the next level. And when I arrived at work one day, the lady at the antique store said, "Oh, someone came in for you, a lady, yeah. She flitted up the back there," and she said, "Oh, it's all right, I know where his desk is." And she made her way through up to my desk, and on my desk was a book, which my partner Elise actually has in Adelaide at the moment, and it was Creating Cities by Marcus Westbury. And she'd written inside the book cover, "I really enjoyed this, thought you might too, hope it helps." So I read this book, and needless to say, the justification and seeing that what else someone had done in Newcastle and all these examples of other things around the globe, we did push forward, and we did get the parklet to happen in Glebe, and it does continue again for the next 12 months. When we launched that, it was a really lovely day like today, not quite as beautiful. We had the pleasure of Robyn coming along and being at the opening of the parklet, and with quite a grin on her face at the end when we were having the barbecue. And I just wanted to share that story with you all, because she was a really amazing woman and very inspirational for a new breed of people coming through trying to do something great for their life. So, Robyn.
Robyn was a wonderful person to me. Obviously we sit on the opposite sides of the political chamber in council, but she taught me an enormous amount, and she was always happy to sit down with anybody and give them her thoughts, her honest thoughts, and that was a fantastic thing. And I really did, through that process, learn a lot. But the thing that I miss most about Robyn, and so many others have spoken about this, was her humour. She never ever failed whenever we sat down to have a council meeting. Often they go for hours and hours, and they're, important, interesting events. She never failed, as I sat down opposite from her, to make a joke. It was always a very clever joke. It was always funny. Usually it was at someone else's expense, but it was fantastic, and it lightened the room in a way that I think made those meetings, sometimes difficult, so much more collaborative and cooperative, because she always had humour for every moment, and that made even serious disagreements, it helped people to understand that it was important that we worked our way through them. So for me, every time I sit down at our council table, I think about her. Every time I sit down there, I miss her, and I miss her jokes. And as I walk throughout the city, there are so many things that I'm sure, like all of you, remind us all of her. At the recent Anzac Day service that was held here in Glebe, it was difficult to keep one's mind on the service when looking at that beautiful memorial, looking across at this park and knowing the advocacy that she had done in relation to this. It's difficult not to walk throughout the city and see reminders of her, like the Pocket Park, like all sorts of things that she worked on as a councillor and as Deputy Lord Mayor. It's a fantastic testament to her work that there are these things throughout the city that she's achieved for us all, and it's also a lovely reminder as we walk throughout the city that I know will keep for a very long time.
Robyn spent her whole life bringing people together in this community and in the institutions where she worked, and she's still bringing us together. It's so lovely to be here with so many of you from different organisations, the police, Glebe Society, all of the Chamber of Commerce. All of you were brought together at one time or another because of Robyn. And I think Eva was quite right to say that one of the many tributes that we should focus on is actually retaining the relationships that Robyn helped us form, making sure that those bonds continue in our community, that we continue to work together for our whole community, to treat each other respectfully and to focus on what benefits us all. Robyn had an extraordinary career. I first met her when I was a baby student at UTS, and I found her actually, to be honest, a little bit terrifying at the time, but what I recognised in her even then was a phenomenally strong woman, a feminist who lived her feminist principles every day. And as I got to know Robyn better over the years, and I heard the stories of her and Lynn's early activism in the UK and the way Robyn put that into practice with the formation for the opening of Elsie Women's Refuge and all of the other things that she did, including an extraordinary career in the public service that really was well ahead of her time as a mentor and as an advocate for more women in the public service and more women to progress to the senior levels of the public service. You saw from Robyn her lived values every day in her professional life, and then in her role at UTS and then going on to council, the work that she did around Ultimo, not just for this Glebe community, but around Ultimo to make it a more human place to be. You know, with the big brewery and the sort of architecture that Ultimo had when I was at UTS a few years ago, that, you know, neo-Stalinist, brutalist architecture that bizarrely the founders of UTS somehow thought would be a great environment for students. Robyn brought the humanity to that and thought about how it could be that walking paths, cycling, just human interaction with the built environment around UTS would make it a better place to be. Every time there was an issue in Glebe, I saw her trying to stop Glebe Post Office from closing, making sure that the public housing was looked after properly, maintenance and upkeep was done properly, the pocket parks, as people have been describing. Robyn has left her mark on this city by working collectively with all of you to provide a better environment for everyone. She's left her mark indelibly on this city. But I hope that her mark is one that isn't just about our physical environment, but about the culture we have of cooperation and collective action in this suburb and more broadly across the areas that Robyn worked. Thank you for allowing me to share this day with you. It's a great opportunity to remember a wonderful woman.
I wanted to get up and speak on behalf of the 78ers. I'm one of the 78ers, and Robyn was key to us getting the apology from the state government this year. She, along with Sydney City Council, put up a motion to the state parliament that they apologise for the violence that was done, the wrongful arrests of 1978. That was key for us, and we were really aware on the day that we got that apology of those who weren't with us, those who were 78ers who have since died, but also Robyn, one of the key people who had our backs, so to speak, with that. Also, in the weeks before she died, I talked with her. We were going to try once again to get Roundup, one of Monsanto's products, banned. But she died, so we didn't get to work on that. I would like to sing a song. You know, usually for all of us, when somebody died, whether it be at the wake or the funeral or the memorial, we sang. I don't know why we don't sing anymore. We don't sing together, but I'd like to sing this in honour of Robyn Kemmis. And it's specifically, you know, for sometimes when people die and they don't know they've died, so they're still around and looking over us. And it's just a short song. Are you there at the foot of the mountain? Are you there at the base of the tree? Are you there in the rushing creek waters? Do you watch over us as we sleep? Are you there? 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 Do you watch over us as we sleep?
I had to immediately out myself as not a member of the Glebe community. I work for the City of Sydney, and I had the amazing good fortune for the last 15 months of Robyn's life to work for her as her support officer. So I'm feeling like I'm reliving that last year when I see the faces of all these people that I've emailed or spoken to on the phone. So thank you for putting this on. I'm sure that Robyn would have approved. I won't say very much, I just want to say that I think that working environment, working for this amazing woman, was the happiest time I've ever had at work, working with Mariana. And we spoke at the time, this was before Christmas, as to how wonderful it was. So we did have that awareness, and I'm really glad about that. The other thing is that my last memory of Robyn was as I left to go away to the UK for Christmas for a very special birthday. I actually got a hug, which I felt very privileged. But when I came back after the terrible news, so many people said, you know, she rang me to say thank you for this, or she made a special point of, you know, passing her regards to my children. I mean, she knew everything about everybody, and she just had that amazing way with everybody. She had that mixture of emotional intelligence and intelligence, IQ, that is very rare, and we won't see many like her again. So with that, I just want to introduce my colleague Mariana, who also worked with Robyn, who most of you know. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone. Yes, as Wendy said, we worked with Robyn, and it was really the happiest working days. We felt so privileged and so lucky to work with Robyn. She was such an inspiration. She is my hero. And I was so grateful to work with the Glebe community. She loved you all so much, and I think you guys knew that. And she worked tirelessly, and she really just set the example for me how I wanted to live my life. She will be everlasting in her inspiration. I'm now incredibly grateful to now work in Clover's office. Clover was really keen for all the work to continue. I'm so glad to be there and amongst you all still, and helping out. And I just wanted to, as a few of us have said today, and Eva mentioned and Tanya mentioned, I think the best thing that we can do is really carry on and help people, be good to our neighbours, be good to each other, because that, you know, that's what it's all about. And one thing that my colleague April here did, she's a dear friend of mine, you know, at times things can be overwhelming thinking about Robyn and remembering her, and she wrote something out which is, if you guys have seen The West Wing, it's a brilliant political show. She wrote out this little reference, and I keep it on my desk every day. It's WWRD, which is what would Robyn do? And I keep that on my desk, and I look at it every day, and it's my inspiration. So thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm from Pyrmont, which for some of you will be across the border. I just want to say that for Robyn there were no borders. Robyn supported our community as much as she supported yours, although I know her heart was in Glebe initially. She supported every community that she ever worked with, that she ever came into contact with. For Robyn, Sydney was her community. She didn't support borders or the idea of borders between communities or between groups of people. There were no borders between men and women, so when the men's shed was established, one of Robyn's first questions was, will there be an occasion where women can come and work in the men's shed as well? She worked tirelessly, as everybody has said, to bring people together, and as the Pyrmont community grew, one of her key questions to me was, how are you going bringing the old community into the new community? And that's something I think of frequently, and I'm sure we all have similar experiences and similar memories. We miss you, Robyn.
This is Robyn's event, but it's also very much Robyn's event put on by Glebe. And I think I've said over the years, as I've come to all these things that I've come to in Glebe over 12 years now, you are such a special community. And today is just another very special community. And I'm just going to try and sort of pull together all the things that have been said. Robyn was a well-known and much-loved member of your community with a long-standing association with the area. Glebe was her home with Lynn for over 40 years. Her mother lived here before her in the boarding house when she went to Teachers College. Robyn said she wouldn't live anywhere else. Community was everything to her, and her community remained in the heart of Glebe. So you have all acknowledged today how she worked with you and supported you, whether it was individually or with your organisations. She had a very strong sense of justice, and she spoke a lot about equity and fairness. And to her, that was at the heart of Glebe. And it was recognised through the works of all of your community groups, and especially the way your community groups work together. The Glebe Community Development Project was so important to you and so important to Robyn. Robyn promoted equal opportunity, especially for women's rights, as we've heard today. And it was, you know, we had such a moving and wonderful memorial at Town Hall. And, you know, I've been very close to Robyn for 12 years, but I learned a lot at that memorial service, I have to say. And the image of little Lynn and Robyn breaking into a building in Covent Garden, and Lynn doing the wiring and actually starting the women's liberation movement in London is such a wonderful and extraordinary story, and just speaks volumes about their life together and the very strong part they played in the women's movement. And of course, when we opened Elsie's Walk, there were memories about Elsie's Refuge, and many of the people who've been involved with them in establishing Elsie's Refuge came to the opening of Elsie's Walk. And of course, to hear that that was the first refuge, women's refuge, to be opened, and then others were opened across Australia. You know, so real leadership, you know, with Lynn for women. And Robyn was also, as we know, and we've heard about it today, such a strong advocate for our social housing communities, and also for your local Chamber of Commerce, our local village economies too. Robyn would often say that Centipede, Treehouse and the Glebe Youth Service not only supported the kids and the youth, but they contributed to the health and the well-being of the Glebe community as a whole. So we all know that Robyn was exceptionally dedicated and committed. And she always saw the positive in everything and everyone. She amazed me sometimes, I've got to say. I get very passionate about a lot of the issues we're involved in and feel very strongly, but Robyn keeps being very nice to everyone. I try to do that, but it's more in her nature than mine. She exemplifies what
she exemplified what's good about our local communities. And they're the building blocks of our city, and she understood this very well. And as Mary said, she was she loved and was so committed to Glebe. And yes, Vicky, I remember being lobbied about the side fences. I have a view as someone who's, you know, been a teacher, that really the education department should do its bit by our children. And I thought at least they could do the side fences. We did that beautiful artwork at the front. But no, the education department couldn't do it. Robyn couldn't wait for the education department, and probably that was a good thing anyway. I remember doing those side fences. And also I am very aware that the tickets to the New Year's Eve party over the last 12 years has been a very important for the Glebe Society, and have been very pleased to do that. And whilst, and this park is such a tribute to Robyn too. She, you know, because when we started, and Robyn started with me in 2004, we had so much to do across the whole of the city. But that didn't put Robyn off in terms of promoting what Glebe needed. And so we just didn't do stage 1 of Foley Park, we did stage 2 of Foley Park, stage 3 of Foley Park, stage 4 of Foley Park, and I think stage 5 included the public toilet facility that parents had to have who were coming to the local park. So she didn't apologise for lobbying very hard for Glebe, and there's been some wonderful things in Glebe. But again, as Mary said, it wasn't just in Glebe. She was very concerned about us working hard and doing so much as we have been able to do, and it was wonderful working with Robyn in those first 4 years, and but it was even more wonderful having her for the last 3 years as my Deputy Lord Mayor. And she had Mariana and Wendy working with her, and they've now come to work with me, which is terrific, because one of the roles Robyn was able to do, I have so much that I have to do as Lord Mayor in terms of the official part, and also just making sure that everything we've committed to actually does get to happen. There's an amazing amount of work goes on in that city and in that town hall. And I felt confident, because Robyn was so active in every single community group, that was all under control as well. And she kept me right in touch with all of that. So that was a great relief to me, because like Robyn, I started off very much just as a community representative. But as I said, there are things that I have to do now, and there aren't really enough hours in the day. And Robyn really worked so hard with me. And in fact, perhaps at the end, she was working too hard, and we've lost her now. And I miss her very, very much. I miss her in every meeting that we have as a team. I miss her in every meeting we have at council, and I miss her companionship. She was one of those people, you know, she was always in a hurry to do so much and get so much out of life, and sometimes when the meetings went on too long, and she'd be fiddling with her pen, and it would drive me mad, and then I'd take it from her and put it back together and give it to her. And sometimes we'd be having a meeting that she thought was going too long, and she'd start striding around the room, and she was always going somewhere else and doing something else, and you all know that because you all knew her. But she did so much for everyone, and she was very intelligent, she was very funny, and she was a very good person. And I think that's why we really want to celebrate her life and the contribution she made to our lives. And so we've all experienced that, and we're all going to continue to have her as part of our life. I do what Mariana and Wendy do. I think about, you know, what Robyn would do. Sometimes when I'm having to do something really tough, I can hear Robyn saying, you know what you have to do, and I do know what I have to do. It's often very tough, but I get on and I do it. And she was so supportive with that. So, as I said at her memorial service in Town Hall, we need more Robyns in our lives. You know, it's wonderful to have a good, active person in your local community and a good friend and a good neighbour, but you know, it's really important to have good people in public life too. I feel we're being so let down by our major parties now. There's some terrible things going on in the state now. There are things that aren't happening at a state and federal level. And you know, if only we had people like Robyn in our parliaments, and we can And I hope at the coming city election that we might get a few more people like Robyn sitting around that council chamber and not the adversarial, often very unpleasant behaviour we get from some of the councillors today. Robyn couldn't stand it, I can't stand it, we didn't like the politics, we loved the work, and we got a lot done. So let's cherish Robyn, as I know we all will do. And thank you everyone for your contribution, and thank you to Glebe for putting this on, it's been wonderful.
So while Nick is getting explained what that is, we've been asked to do 3 cheers. Now I think, you know, sometimes these things can feel a bit funny, but I think 3 cheers to give us the energy to move forward with the calling out that's come today, which is that we must keep doing this amazing work. And Robyn has been an inspiration to us all. So can we have 3 cheers for Robyn? Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! There we go.
When Robyn was first elected, I went up to her and said, as far as I'm concerned, you're a good person and we will cooperate with you in every possible way that we can. And from then on, our relationship was extremely good. She took me at my word and it was always very good, right up to the end. We're still getting phone calls right up to just a few days before she died.
I remember Robyn as someone who was always just so encouraging of others to be involved and sought to always remember to people, to offer encouragement. I can remember the times when there'd be a community project on and you'd be tirelessly working away in the background and all of a sudden Robyn would ring you and just, you know, give you a gentle nudge and a gentle word of encouragement. So I always value her friendship, her support, her values, her strong focus on community, and I know we'll miss her all. We already do miss her.